The most important thing with AI is you have to still solve big problems.
Talk about AI from the product side. How are you thinking about it?
There's a lot of speculation on where the consumer goes. I don't think a lot of speculation around the value of AI and the impact that it will make. It's massive. It's extraordinary. We're seeing it. We've got hundreds of thousands of cases that are now fully automated, right? Without any human assist.
You've grown this company to this scale without a chief product officer. Is that because you don't think somebody can do it, or you don't want somebody to do it?
Somebody can definitely do it. But I want flat, man. As flat as we can be for as long as we can be.
I want to know what you're thinking about for the future. Where is your mind going of like how to future-proof Engine?
That to me is like...
We have Elia Wallen here with us, founder and CEO of Engine.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so you are founder CEO. You've been around startups your whole life. Your dad, if I read, have owned a health food store. This is like before Whole Foods was a thing?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cutting edge, bleeding edge. He started a couple health food stores down in Naples, Florida. Got up to, I think, 3, and not Whole Foods, but think of that mom and pop kind of little grocery store that they were still helping you pick out which vitamins and brands and things, that you'd buy. So yeah.
And then you had a couple startups before Engine.
Several. Yeah, I was the definition of a serial entrepreneur. If I saw an opportunity, I must have been one of the best LLC creators, generators back then before legal Zoom. You spin up an LLC. Yeah, no problem.
Now that the statute of limitations is up, you want to talk a little bit about that casino you had going on in your parents' garage?
Yeah, that was that I did not have an LLC for. Yeah, I mean, you gotta, we were just kids being kids, and started a little casino, and it grew. We had 3 tables at one point, and we were not just playing blackjack, but we were selling stogies and beers to other things. Yeah, it was fun time.
All right, so fast forward, here you are, Engine now, travel management. You want to give just a little explanation of what Engine does?
Yeah, modern travel management platform. Yeah, built more specifically for the SMB.
Great. And for those who don't know, I worked at Engine with you for a while, so that's exciting. We go way back. Founder mode was huge. I remember a couple of years ago, I remember us reading about it. It was like probably my first week or two there, that article I think had come out. And you're kind of the definition of it. Here you are with over 1,000 employees at Engine. Can you actually live founder mode at that scale?
Yeah, I don't think the founder mode, I mean, it kind of got torn apart a little bit post coming out. I think everybody, but ultimately, I think when you break it down to just the basic principles of what it means, like staying involved in the business is something that we've done, I think, very well. You got to live in the details. You lose the details, you lose everything. And I think for us, that's just what we've done. And I think founder mode, and again, in the purest sense, is trying to define that, staying close to things, not building these layers in the hierarchy. So, with 1,000 people, it's absolutely, without question. I think all of the execs of a business, all the managers, I mean, everyone needs to understand the business deeply. And I don't think that was maybe historically what happened as much, but you look at history, and the people, even Rockefeller, knew every single cent and dollar at every point of his business. And time and time again, like that's where it works.
So early on, No Rules, the Netflix book was wildly like embedded in the culture.
Yes.
Right. A lot of that relies on having people that are really accountable, stream ownership in a lot of cases. Have there been pain points as you've grown, like trying to live that philosophy?
Yeah, that takes multiple ingredients to pull off, right? That type of culture. Talent density is one of them. Talent density. And you don't get there overnight. And I think as you start to pull back rules, you can only do that when the talent density of the organization starts to grow. Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, and you thread the needle, and you remove some, rules and restrictions, some barriers. But you kind of do it over time. It's not something that just happens overnight. All of a sudden, like freedom and responsibility for everyone. Let's go. You all, full agency with everything. But it is cool to see the evolution. No doubt. And I absolutely am convinced that's the way to build an enduring business.
Okay, so speaking of talent, you've got to hire a lot of people, now over 1,000 employees and growing 50-60% year over year.
Right.
You've got to hire, I'm sure, a ton. So you're doing a lot of interviews. You guys doing case studies, which I love. It's like one of the things that I'm always going to take from Engine, and never hire anybody without having them do a case study. So that was one of the best learnings I had. But when you think about the talent of who you're going after, and are you looking for scrappiness? Are you looking for they've seen this movie before? And has that changed as the company has grown? Do you look for different people at different stages?
Yeah, I would say, somewhere in between ambition and experience. And some people can have the experience and keep that ambition and keep that hunger and drive. I think it becomes more and more rare. Um, for us, we're still in absolute builder mode. Like I want people to be in the business. And I think as you try to find people that have done it before, it's harder to find those people that still want to get back into the trenches with you. And so I've always preferred finding up and comers, people that are still extremely hungry, chip on their shoulder, want to have something to prove. I would just say that will is much, much more important than experience because the world's changed so fast. The experience that you had 10 years ago, 5 years ago, is simply, a lot of it may not be transferable.
Okay, so company's growing quickly. 2021 hits. Uh, you did a Series B at the time, got unicorn status, 1.3 billion. How'd it feel?
Woke up, everything was not much different, man. A little bit more money in the bank, not much more, and, we just moved forward. It wasn't this game-changing thing. It wasn't, for us, it was a great milestone, right? Do a quick victory lap, small with the team, and then you just move on.
I was there for the Series C, 2024. Primera led it, 2.1 billion valuation, which, you'd look at the math and someone from the outside goes, okay, 1.3 billion in 2021 versus 2.1 in 2024. Okay, they're doubling a couple years, but realistically, when you look at the actual valuations, right,
Yeah,
the multiples that you were getting in 2021 at
that's right.
30x
Yeah,
versus 9 to 10x in 2024, you might have really been a $400 million company
yeah.
in 2021. So the growth is unbelievable. We should have. I don't like. I guess my point is, I don't even remember the victory lap.
I don't know, we must have sent a Slack or something out. I'm sure somewhere there was some sort of little thing internally.
High five.
That wasn't yeah, I mean, that wasn't the point of the raise, right? And I think going back to your point really quick, the raises in 2021, anyone else that raised the next following years, most companies had a flat or down round. So, yes, I do think that there's something underneath the numbers that show on the surface it looked like maybe a double, but, it was much more than that for us, certainly.
Okay, now, company is. I mean, that was 2024. You guys are growing so fast. Company is probably valued in the threes. Who knows? Next round will probably show higher. As I like to think too. Um, you've done this. You've grown this company to this scale without a chief product officer.
Yeah.
Is that because you don't think somebody can do it or you don't want somebody to do it?
But somebody can definitely do it. But I want flat, man. I like we have an incredible product team. Giving them the agency and the ability to get into the business and make the decisions, while I can stay close to it, while the rest of the business can stay close to it. I think those layers, even at that level, it's another layer. As flat as we can be for as long as we can be, is the path that we're choosing. And I think you're starting to see more and more companies do this. You're seeing middle management layers start to get removed, especially with AI and the speed in which businesses and teams can operate when you don't have people in the way, actually slowing it down, decision by committee, bureaucracy, all this stuff. Um, for me, flatter is better. And in this case, like we've got a great product team, we're moving very quickly, and yeah, I like where it is.
Of all the board meetings I joined at my time at Engine, every one of them had some part of it focused on how do we get Eli to have less direct reports?
Yeah,
How many do you have now?
15,
Okay. What's
mm,
the most you've had?
25.
Okay. Wild for most people to think about. Um, what about the one-on-one structure? I remember this being really an interesting point of view from you in terms of just like a lot of one-on-ones are done to like check-ins, right? But you don't see it that way.
No, I mean, I think for me, like, we've got a talent dense organization. We've got great people, and they know the mission. We are mission first. We're focused on delivering the goods there, and so I think my job really is to help unblock these folks and help them see blind spots. There's all these benchmarks and rule of seven and all this stuff with direct reports. Like literally all of that to me is noise. And some of it works, some of it doesn't. It doesn't mean that you can't learn from the history, but it doesn't mean you have to repeat and copy it. And so for us, I think we do things that work. And if it doesn't work, we change it. And yeah, 25 direct reports operating kind of how I was, it's probably not the best for the business. But this whole concept that you have way too many, like, where's that rationale? How are you coming up with that assumption? Because another company that you have doesn't have it? Like, I don't buy it.
Well, if you could truly operate like that, where everybody who reports to you is coming to you for your one-on-one with an agenda. They're talking at you, not you being like, how are things going? And they're going, here's where I need unblocking. then adding that extra layer in between only serves for that person to now have to ask you
Yeah.
potentially,
Yeah.
right? If they want to check in. So it's maybe even more inefficient to have that layer.
If 99% of things are going right, I want to talk about the 1% wrong. I mean, that's what we spend our time on. Those problems. I want to obsess about the problems. And I think that's what the team does pretty well. And that's what those one-on-ones are for. What's the issue? How are we going to solve it? And let's move on to the next issue and make it very, very comfortable to talk about.
Speaking of problems, there has to be points in the history of where problems became really big.
Yeah.
What's kind of the lowest low you can think of in the company's trajectory?
Yeah, we were just chatting about this. Like, business is problems. If you don't like that business, get out of business altogether. Like, you're in the business of solving problems, of dealing with problems every single day, and problems happen all the time. So I don't. Some bigger than others, but at the end of the day, the sun's going to come up tomorrow, and you got to solve it. And so for us, though, less about problem, more about fear. Obviously, I have maybe healthy paranoia, maybe a little bit unhealthy, but I think the way that I think about it is one of the most challenging times for us is we were about to run out of cash right before we raised our Series A.
Like, how close?
Weeks, vapors
Weeks.
in the tank. I mean, there's not much left.
How many employees at this point?
Mm, so this was both companies. So this Travel Saving and Engine, I don't know, there's probably 150, 180 of us a while back, and it got really scary. And I remember calling friends asking for money and being turned down, even though I had a couple successful businesses. It was risky. And luckily, the Series A was delayed by a week, freaked out, it closed, and disaster was averted.
And that was Telescope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Telescope. Mickey Arabelovic.
Yeah, he
Yes,
does.
he likes to
Yeah,
say
I think he might know that story now, but we were down to the wire, and he had some leverage over me probably that he didn't know about, but he could have maybe tightened the screws, but he didn't, of course. A great guy, and we closed, and yeah, the rest is history.
One thing I think other founders might be interested in hearing is your point of view on investors. And I mean, everybody who's invested is minority at this point,
Yeah.
right? So everyone's minority. You got Blackstone, Telescope, Elefun, Primera,
Yeah.
right? How do you like when you're choosing? Because you are in a position where you can choose. Some founders are in positions where they have to take
Yeah.
who's there, and you got really lucky with Mickey. I think Mickey's an amazing person. Telescope's awesome, and you know you were at the wire and you ended up going with him. That's great. But I remember a story you telling just about how Mickey kind of impressed you when he came
Yeah.
in. Can you tell us about that?
It, I'm insanely fortunate for my, first real primary investor to be Mickey and Telescope. Cut from a different cloth. He was all about alignment and creating value, not what can I extract? How can I get an angle on this? And he's still to this day, true as the day is long, that he's all about helping create value, not judging. There's no dysfunction. Um, is crazy lucky that that was my first experience. And then he led the Series B, and like, so that pays off in a sense, right? Like, he's such a great guy, gets money in early, and you want to work with him. It was the easy button for us, as he describes it. And so the Series B was the easy button, and Blackstone came along in that raise. But yeah, very, very fortunate that he came along when he did.
Let's move on to AI. How are you thinking about this? Engine is a travel management company. Businesses are using it to book hotels, book flights, book cars. I still use it all the time. Just getting it in at Cadre. Used it for this trip.
And
So
yeah,
let's go. Uh, Saves a ton of money. But you've got big competitors who are, I mean, I don't know that there's so much competing in the small business space. You got Expedia, you got big travel platforms who are probably throwing a lot into how AI is going to improve the travel experience.
yeah.
How are you thinking about it at Engine in terms of AI on the product side?
A lot. I mean, we're literally thinking about every interaction with AI, both customer facing and internal. There's massive, massive opportunities. Like, I'm not saying anything that people don't already know. I think though that the big thing is going to be customer adoption and behavior. And we're actually going to see today, which is kind of strange. Like, you're not seeing a ton in the shopping experience, really in any travel spot. I mean, certainly there's some of these smaller things that are popping up here and there, and maybe there will be some traction with it. We'll see. Time will tell. But I think for us, it's more about personalization and going to where the customer wants to be. So I think you'll see us do more with voice. I think you'll see us do more with chat. you'll see a lot more personalization, significant personalization around just like, we know what you want. Let's just stop the madness, right? You don't need to scroll. You don't need to search. So I think you'll start to see more and more of that. And it's just massive testing that's happening in the background that I think will ultimately take us where we want to go.
Internally, when you think about you got the product side, AI focused, do you have a AI focused team on the product side who like that's all they're thinking about? Or does the travel and the groups and each,
Yeah.
individual section and product have
Yeah.
its own kind of view on AI?
Our thought process is every person and product of the company needs to understand and be willing to adopt and think about, wake up every day and think about AI and how it's going to transform and change. It's interesting. Even as we hire folks, like it's still so new. There's still a lot of people that are uncertain about it. Like there's still people that you have to break these habits. Even age doesn't matter. What they've been doing, it's like it's still um, it's interesting, But yeah, I mean, every person. This is going to be a core part of their function, right, is to think through an AI lens when they're designing and building net new features for our customers and obviously the historical features that we built.
Then you got AI able to deliver efficiency with a team. So just whether that's, people doing more
Yeah,
with less.
yeah,
How are you thinking about AI when it comes to, the people internally and making those workflows more efficient? Do you have, and were there lessons learned? I know at some point we had IT kind
yeah,
of focus on
yeah,
AI. I think now it lives in a different department
yeah.
in Engine.
We're
So what have you learned?
seeing a lot more uh, velocity or acceleration growth there. The reason is the user test, it's small, right? This is our team, and we're getting real feedback immediately on the things that we're changing, and we know what's to change. Like we have all the data on every one of the processes of every person in the company. So we can see and make those changes very, very rapidly without worrying about what customers we're going to alienate, what customers want to adopt, what customers don't want to adopt. Internally, we literally can just we can run that play a little bit more aggressively, and we are, and massive, massive improvements and changes in efficiency.
Where any departments you've seen it work better in than others?
I mean, certainly on our client ops side, right? That's the easy one. I think most people that are calling what we've seen, we've got hundreds of thousands of cases that are now fully automated, right, without any human assist. Yeah, tickets. Yeah, that's right.
I got to change my flight. I have to,
Yeah.
didn't get my points,
That's
whatever
right.
it is.
Over 50% of our cases now are done without any sort of human assist. And, yeah, and so, I mean, those are the things that you can roll out pretty quickly because what we found is CSAT is actually a bit higher too when our customers are engaging directly with AI. Because really it's not about they just want their problem solved at the end of the day in the fastest, most efficient way. What we have though, there's some scar tissue of some of this old school automated, prompts in the phones when you call, like it couldn't help, couldn't help, couldn't help. And then you say agent or let me speak to a representative. Like that was the first thing we do when you hear that. So, there's some of those folks that, we've experienced that. And so you got some of that scar tissue to overcome. But it's getting there, right? And people are becoming much more comfortable with this newer more modern version of yeah, agentic help.
Do I remember it correctly that there was a time, and maybe it's changed by now, but there's like something like 50,000 inbound calls, chats, emails, whatever coming in. And at the time, there was a team of humans that were just reading them and then saying, that should go to this team. That should go to
Yeah,
this team. Not
yeah,
solving anything,
emails, yeah,
just
routing,
routing.
yeah,
That's all
wild.
AI.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, these are some just reading, categorization, teeing it up to Nate. Yeah, that's all done. I mean, a lot now is fully automated. It's very interesting to see CSAT scores improve. Um, And you can put those folks on more I mean, the good thing for us is, like, the business is doubling, right? We're growing very fast. And so there's more and more of those, high value touch points that we still need humans for, and we will, probably always maintain an element of that, like, if we want that true white glove experience. And so that's a really a brand decision, and I think we're all in on that. And so, like, we're in a fortunate position that, we can move those folks, repurpose, redeploy on some of those other key areas that are continuing to need human assistance.
At Engine, I remember hearing people say this a lot, the world's different in a month,
Yeah.
in 2 months.
Yeah.
Planning too far ahead felt just silly because things change so quickly.
Yeah.
And you've got to have that kind of growth mindset of like, give me the problems
Yeah.
and let's go where the problems are and fix them. Uh, having said that, I wanna know what you're thinking about for the future in terms of, like, if you fast forward to 2030 or you're trying to future proof the business in some way, like, where's your mind going of, like, how to future proof Engine for
Yeah.
whatever year it is, 2030?
For one, on planning really quick, people don't understand the complexities of the world if you try to make a 5-year plan and stick to it. And that to me is like such a crazy concept. You know, if you go back a couple years, like that is how business was done. I'm glad, I'm hopeful to see less and less of that structured, rigid planning roll out. And it's got to be modern, it's got to be fast, it's got to be agile. So, anyways, I think the world is starting to catch on to that, and I think that you'll see fewer and fewer. What's it going to look like in 5 years? My crystal ball's broken. I mean, I don't think anyone can tell that answer. I don't care how good of an expert you are. So let's stop trying, right? And let's just start to like new information comes in, change your mind. It's fine. And if everyone can just rally around that, I think the business will be in a much better place. So we really try to drive that home that don't get too married to any of these decisions because they most likely will change because the world is changing faster now than ever before.
And that's something you live. I know it because the term we've used is strong convictions loosely held.
That's right.
I have heard you say convincingly multiple times, we will never do flights in cars.
Yeah.
We are a hotel booking platform. We're going to be the best in the world at that.
That's right.
And weeks later, I'm writing the script for Summit,
Yeah.
with all of our employees, and it's like, oh, by the way, throw in something about,
Yeah, we're
like
doing class.
we're doing flights in cars.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, that's a mindset that you live by, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have to. And we'll get it wrong. We won't get it all right. But certainly, I think with that mentality, you're not going to be caught flat footed, right? You're not going to be in a position like, oh shit, how do we get out of this now? I think everyone in the business needs to be entrepreneurial. They need to be thinking about those problems, the paranoia. We're going to fail if we don't, adapt quickly. Everyone just has to believe in that. And I think when you do, you have less friction. There's less stiffness, right? It's talk about like not letting the old man into the business. I did this morning with the company letting the old man in, you get stale, you get stiff, you get rigid. And so we got to keep bureaucracy out. We got to keep layers out. We've got to stay young as an organization. And as you get bigger, I mean, even Amazon, right? Like day one mentality, right? And like everyone tries to do that for as long as they can. I think some companies more successfully than not, but we're still deeply entrenched in um, we got to stay young as an organization, even though we're growing. I want to cut process. I want to delete everything that we can delete all the damn time, rethink the roadmap, rethink how we approach the problems we're trying to solve because it just those problems change every single day. Yeah.
And when problems come up, what do we say? We say good, right?
Good.
Anyone who hasn't seen that Jocko good,
Yeah.
Google Jocko's
It's
good.
fantastic. Yeah.
We played it at summits. We play it all the time.
That's right.
It's you get a problem, something's going wrong.
Yeah.
Good. It's an
Absolutely.
opportunity to fix it, opportunity to get better. And that's what you're going back to earlier of just like focus on the problems, not the good stuff. And it's probably why I don't
Oh,
remember a celebration at any of
there weren't many.
the big
There weren't
rounds.
many.
No, focus on the past thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Eli Wallen, CEO and founder of Exit. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.